So after elaborating, putting extra strums between the two G chords, starting, from the bass rhythm of. So we've busied up and inserted extra strums between the two Gs, and bled across to the A minor as well. We've just bled across to all the beats preceding A minor. We've got this. What we're going to do now is in this before we get to the G, in this tock 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 tock, that gap there before we go to G, is we'll put some percussive strums, and I'm going to define where they go. But again, it's best to learn how to do it by feel and then analyse it from the reverse perspective. You almost analysing it in advance just makes it seem too daunting to play. But so what I'm going to go is I'm going to go tock 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 tock. Instead of 4, I'm going to go 2, and then I'm going to start strumming after 2. But I still have to strum my G chord on the right beat. So it goes tock tock no tock 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 a few there. Hopefully this makes sense. The thing is, you see, if your hand's doing this when you go, it's that you can put that little kind of percussive, because it's just your arm's already doing the action, but you're subtracting. See what I mean? Your hand's still doing the right action. You're just bringing the sound out by putting your hand on the guitar. So the other one is, instead of, you just go tock 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 tock, just a little ticker before the chord comes in. So we go tock tock tock. We go 3 beats and then put a little ticker on the 4th. Again, for sake of professionality, I'm expressing exactly where it goes, but it's just a feel thing. So it's I went on the 4th one. Tuck, 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 tuck. That's right. Tuck, 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 tuck. Tuck, 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 tuck. That's the one with the. Now the thing is it's almost like you're doing this really. You go in. Essentially, if I brought all of the up downs in the play, the rhythm would be like that. So in a sense, when you're playing this way, you're playing that rhythm, but the only ones you're making sound is where you want it to make. Language is really hard to, but the bits that you sound are kind of like you're just revealing that little bit, but you're playing it all anyway. That's the feel you've got, and on top of that, you're feeling this unique rhythm pattern that's made by where you drop those percussion things. I don't know. I'm not cut. I would have stopped this, but because every time I get to a point when I'm trying to explain it, and it gets messy, I usually cut it and start again, but I can't this time. So you can disregard that bit. It's got something in there. Now the thing is the final thing is again, I can variation after variation after variation, but you can see yourself if you start, you've got all the variations on the G, and now you've got 2 variations with a ticka, and it's like, if I just do one and I mix it up with these ticka or ticka, you know, I can go a ticka or a ticka. These are kind of like the rhythmic units that I kind of throw in just by feel, really. So you have to play all a lot, and even going back to the thing about tapping on your thighs, you've got to get all of that underlying sense of the pulse working seamlessly inside you, or none of this will work. So I'll finish it off with some variations. So it's and just as a thing to lead us into the break, and I'll reiterate this at the start of the next video, which is behind the break, is these loop 4, they do 4, so you end up with, you know, if you're being really fancy, you could slowly increase them up. You could just flip it up a little bit more. But the last one, about around here, the drums start putting loads of feels, and then because you're going to go into the, you're going to go into like a kind of it's much more 16th oriented, the bridge. So what you do is, even though you're marking 16th in the verse, in that last pass, in this, when you get down to the F, you've got to start. Because that's the kind of rhythm pattern that we're going to explore in the break. So as you're progressing out of the last line, you've got to start bringing in, your hands got to start bringing those pulses into sound on the guitar, so you're up to speed by the time it makes the transition, and you're stable. So that's the thing. So that's another reason, keeping track of the 4 lines, where you are. You can be all windswept and interesting and expressive, but part of you still got to be thinking, okay, the second line, I've got one more line, and then now I've got to start building it up for the. So you're always working and thinking about even in a simple arrangement like this.